Hi everyone, this is the back cover collage artwork, word art, for the lesson today is a benefit of time relationship. So the word today is relationship. So I'm debating on how I want to do this because I think I want to try to use up one of our, the big expanded pieces. Figure out how to divide it up. Relationship. Maybe combine it. Okay, so we're gonna do because relationship's a really long word, and I want it to stand out on the back cover. I feel like it should. We have those, we have like 10 slots or 11 slots or something like that of places where we need like a longer word for the back collage. So maybe a few of the bigger words that we have to do, we can use the longer pages. We did it on another one too. Relationship. Okay. Then I'll just combine them together. And then at the very end of this video, you'll see both of them put together. So I said so much in the lesson video, I'm just not having any words right now. Just kind of enjoying just being artistic for a second. See, about like obedience to God is really funny because, I was writing the book series and like it's not selling, nobody's knowing about it. God's had me change my name. I'm in obscurity. I'm not allowed to advertise, like all these things. And I'm just like, okay, Lord, what's the point of all this, Lord? If it's not gonna, Lord, if this is not gonna go and no one's gonna see it ever, then what's the point of doing all this work? And God's like, the point is obedience. Like you're doing what I'm asking you to do, and then along comes this curriculum. And again, it's like, okay, well, just I've already been trained in obedience to walk and just to do what God's called me to do. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing what God's called me to do. How he uses it is none of my business, really. It's all about, we're going to do red for this one. It's all about what he wants, when he wants it, and how he wants it done. And he knows why he wants it done the certain way. He knows why he wants the artwork, done on the videos. He knows why he wants the lessons. He knows why he wants the prayer time videos with it and the little just shorts. God knows like the pieces of it, the reason for the pieces. There's a reason for each one, the Bible reading. Because every time I read the Bible, I'm like, does anybody need to listen to me read the Bible? Like, is that an important component of this curriculum? And God's like, it's how I want it done. I'm like, okay, well, then I trust that this is going to be used for your glory. So, I mean, it's reading the word. It's really not, I am actually really enjoying reading the word out loud. Leviticus is a little dry always, like it's the law, and I'm learning things though every time I read it. Every time I read Leviticus, I feel like I get something new. The biggest question I have from reading Leviticus is some of the laws I just don't understand, like the distinctions, and like I would love to understand the mind of God and like unclean and clean and like, I don't know, the offering. I don't even think I understand the concept of like the sweet smelling aroma of the offerings to the Lord, like why a burning animal, is a sweet smelling aroma to him, why is it pleasing to him. Is it because of the atonement aspect? Is it because it smells good? Like, my I want to know. So maybe someday I'll get to understand, because then Jesus was sacrificed for us on the cross. I want to know and understand that more. I think we're just going to leave it red so it's really visible on the back. I got red on the pages. Oh well, that'll cut off in Photoshop. Kind of excited to find out what next section's going to be about. Starting to like really look forward to each day and see what God's going to speak and what's going to do and what's going to talk. Because I'm learning things through it when I have to watch it back, or when I get to watch it back, I guess, and get to see what God said. I'm like, ooh, Lord, you're speaking. And then some days I'm like, ooh, that was rough. That was rough. And it was just not. You could just tell I was a little disconnected from the Lord. But God can still speak through that too, I think. And the whole point is I'm not perfect, so this is not going to be perfect, clearly. I'm just trying to be obedient and do what God's asked me to do. And hopefully that inspires other people to be obedient to the Lord. I think that's my heart. It's like, I just want to encourage others to be obedient to the Lord too. And whatever little, those seemingly insignificant, small things that God asks us to do, it's because it's not about fame or fortune. It's about God has a purpose and a plan. Even if the book's never read by people, then I have come to know God more through writing them. And isn't that valuable? Isn't the obedience in itself valuable? I think about like God telling Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, his only son. Wasn't there not value in the test itself? Like, was there not value in the experience of that for Abraham, in the checking of his heart before the Lord, of was he willing to give up his child of promise? I can't imagine. But Abraham was so obedient with that, like to Abraham himself to see that he was willing to obey the Lord in doing this thing. There's value in obeying God in the act itself. It builds our relationship and our confidence and our trust with God. And if we don't fully understand, it still does, because I think God puts a deposit in us of, faithful obedience to Him, because we're literally acknowledging that He is God, that His ways are not our ways, and that we don't know how to truly, honor Him or live a life that's pleasing to Him, that's something that He has to lead us in and guide us in, and it's an ongoing daily thing that we have to just yield to His leading in our lives. And so I just encourage you, whatever God's called you to do it, because it'll lead to something bigger, and it'll just, as you're so you can't see the whole thing because I'm going to leave it in the book, but you'll see it shortly. So that's relationship. All right. Thanks for watching.